Hey everybody, and welcome to this special on the full moon that happens in Cancer on the 12th of February 2025 at 13:54, so 1:54 p.m. all times are in GMT time, and then the moon moves into Leo at 2:06 p.m. so it's like a Leo Cancer vibe moon. So it happens the precise time when the moon's in the 30th degree of Cancer, and the Sabian symbol is a daughter of the American Revolution. It's in the critical Untitled degree, so we call these like the 29th, some astrologers say 30th degree as well. So it allows us, this moon, it's like a magnifying glass for our feelings. Some of you may suddenly understand why you've been feeling a certain way, and especially if you've been feeling low, this can give you the power to make positive changes in your thoughts, habits, relationships. It also brings a strong connection to our roots, our family, our culture, our traditions. We can feel sort of strength from understanding and embracing, vibing with our family history or our cultural background, and our gut feelings can be really on track right now. And it just asks us to trust our inner whispers, our intuition, our gut feelings, because they can be, accurate right now, spot on. But of course, make sure, that you make realistic steps to bring your dreams into reality. You may have an idea for a good product or service, but typically it can take 5 to 15 years to bring things to market and stuff. Things can, you can sort of get things done a lot quicker, but I mean in terms of maybe get the company where you want it to be. So just make sure you're realistic in how long it's going to take to bring these changes that your intuition tells you to make, right? Also negatively, we can just feel emotionally overwhelmed right now, like we're drowning in the sea of emotions, and we just have to remind ourselves it's okay to take some time out, to take a breather, to not have all the answers, to maybe practice some self-love techniques, having a nice bath, cooking a meal, ordering a takeout, going for a walk, watching a favourite show, anything that makes you feel aligned with yourself. We can also resist change as well. It can clash with our need for stability, our comfort zone, right, and emotional security. So finding the balance between our need to go forward emotionally and to face our emotions and to deal with our issues, especially, some of us may be avoiding addressing a relationship problem, so finding that balance can be kind of tricky right now. And like I said, old drama and issues may just come to the surface, and one person may want to discuss it and the other may not. So we just have to remember that we can acknowledge and work with and deal and heal our past, while also being in control of our present moment, dealing with the past and dealing with our psychological, emotional and spiritual sufferings and pain. Doesn't mean we can't enjoy life as it happens. We can make room for all of ourselves, our strengths and our what we perceive as weaknesses. So the best use of this full moon could be for some of you to start a family tree project, or explore your traditions, your culture, religion, ancestry and stuff. Write about, voice record about your emotional and psychological and spiritual patterns and moods, and how you feel that these unresolved issues or uncontrolled emotions may be a result of unprocessed trauma from your past and stuff. Create a vision board that blends tradition with your future goals. A lot of the time, we can dislike our family traditions and stuff, so if we get push everything out, right, because we think it's all bad. But I believe there's the yin and yang symbol, in the seed of good there's the white, the yang, there's the seed of the white dot, and in the white dot there's the seed of the black, and positive is in the negative and negatives in the positive. So just thinking about what you can learn from your current situations to sort of move forward in your life. Don't forget to practice self-care practices that honour both your emotional, psychological and spiritual needs and cultural traditions and your current needs. In terms of our finances, looking with working into skills. Some of you may have learned how to cook a certain dish or meal, or do a certain kind of thing in a certain way, make woodwork, if some of you still know how to do that, crafts and handicrafts and that, something in your family that you may have inherited, even if it's like learning from, your family dysfunction. You could turn this into training to be some kind of mental health worker, counsellor, even if it's just volunteering on a mental health helpline like Samaritans in the UK, just offering comfort to people, just looking into ways also to boost your income if you, depending on what you want to do or whether you want to give something back. And we just need to watch out for overspending as well, especially because we can just want comfort right now, so we can just comfort shop and think, spend now, that's it, and think later, and this can lead to problems. So just watch out and avoid comfort kind of shopping, and your wallet, your finances will thank you later. Also, consider spending money on things that connect you to your heritage, your traditions, or to improve your home as well. It's a good use of this full moon in Cancer, and also release things that stop you from enjoying your culture, your home, and your inner home, which is your emotional, psychological and spiritual life as well, In terms of the social and collective meanings, we can just feel like we want to celebrate our unique identities and expression more openly and proudly. We may see more emotional intelligence being displayed in our relationships as well, realizing the power of understanding and expressing emotions, starting with each person who can take a responsibility for understanding themselves. In terms of historical reflection, thinking back, we may kind of just get nostalgic, and this can be a good or bad thing. Some of us may think we want to go back to an ex, and sometimes it could be good. Typically it's not revisiting the past in terms of physically going there, but we must heal it. We must make sure that we haven't, develop defense mechanisms, and we sort life out because of things in the past. We need to deal with the past in terms of processing it on the emotional, psychological and spiritual level in such an extent that it doesn't stop us from achieving the things we say we want to do. So ultimately, the full snow moon is a cue, a signal to embrace and work with our emotional truths and let it motivate our growth. It's also about honouring where we come from while planning, charting our own course forward so we can make progress, asking ourselves, so we can ask ourselves, are we sort of like ready to be the protagonist, the change agent in our family's legacy, and create our own epic life story by learning from our past family mistakes and healing from them, but also not seeing them all as like curses or anything like that, looking for the blessings in everything, even things like abandonment, rejection and heartbreak. And this is not to victim shame or to minimize your emotions or anything like that, but just to realize that the only thing we can control is who we are now and who we're going to be. We can't change the past, and we shouldn't allow it to rob us from our future. And I know it's not easy to do, but it can be done. So this full snow moon asks us about how we can use the wisdom of our past to create a better future for ourselves, and it's a time to allow ourselves to grow in self-awareness, shadow work, inner work and emotional intelligence, and shine and change and revolutionize our lifestyle and the world, one feeling at a time, processing one emotional and psychological and spiritual problem at a time. So yes, as I said, each full moon has a special name. So as I said, this moon in February is called the snow moon, and the origin of the name is Native American, also has roots in colonial kind of Americanism as well, and it just points our attention for the need for survival and wisdom learning from our past. In North America, historically, February was the snowiest month, and this represented peak winter survival challenges, getting through the winter, surviving the coldness of the snow, and it sort of like signifies us to go in and self-reflect, and also think about the winter when nature seems to stop growing, but what it's really doing, it's composting everything underneath and in the cosmos, and reflecting, preparing for the spring and summer and autumn. So it symbolises nature's resilience and potential for transformation from the winter to the spring, and on the individual level it opens up the portal for deep inner reflection, allowing us to build our resilience, also to go into detox mode and purify ourselves on the spiritual, emotional, psychological levels, releasing our old toxic self-destructive thought behaviour relating to ourselves and others, how that kind of the toxic communication, right? So it wants us to connect with our culture, our ancestral wisdom, but not in a way that we just blindly follow it, but just researching, working with the energy and seeing how we can use parts or all of it to make our life better in the present. It allows us to access higher consciousness, have an increase in our intuition and clarity and focus and understanding. It allows us to develop inner peace and heal our trauma and increase our self-awareness over the coming year. And as we work with the energy, we can prepare our own meditation retreat or focus on shadow or inner work. Also creative visualization, which is like just thinking about the future you want, and then daily we take the practical actions to get there, writing things down and just holistically looking for tools that can help you, like not rejecting things, thinking, I'm going to reject my culture and stuff like that, blocking ourselves with resistance to kind of like change, which is one of the big challenges that can happen, because we can feel emotionally overwhelmed and we can be depressed because of the season changes. Winter, a lot of people have seasonal depression disorder, seasonal affective disorder, meaning that certain weathers can change them, especially the cold, and this can lead to us feeling stuck and isolated and sensitive as well, because we're maybe not socializing more, going out more, just feeling dewy, so we just feel sensitive, and our emotional states may be more to the surface than our understanding. So yeah, deepening our understanding of our relationship to our own sort of like emotions, thoughts and behaviours, maybe doing some kind of winter solstice inspired rituals, which is just working with symbols of winter, doing meditations to connect with your ancestral line in a healthy way, attending personal transformation workshops on or offline, or listening to podcasts like that, attending healing circles, doing sound healing, crystal energy work, breath work, shamanic journaling, manifestation practices, creating a personal winter transformation ritual, releasing what no longer serves you, envisioning a better future, connecting with your inner wisdom, and allowing yourself to build resilience, to transform, to change, and to feel divinely guided, and just to be open to embracing the self-reflective nature of this full moon, trusting your inner wisdom and preparing for the spring. March is coming, the heat is coming in countries where it is the winter, because not everyone, it's summer in some places, right? But just preparing for newness in your life, allowing yourself to reflect on how you can change your life, making an active choice to work with your, the water, the ice, which is representative of our feelings, our emotions, love, romance. If we're willing to do this, then we can change our consciousness, the way we do things, say things, our lifestyle is, the chance is really high if we're willing to create a personal healing sanctuary, to practice radical self-compassion, developing our intuitive skills and honouring the cycles of nature, and just allow ourselves to be more gentle and intentional as well. And we can do things like burning sage, protective visualizations, grounding practices, and working with crystals and creating grids and stuff if you work with that energy. And it just invites us to dig deep within ourselves, release what's blocking us, and allow ourselves to, sort of like become renewed. So the recommended ritual for this full moon is to create a sacred space within you or in your external world. Think about things you want to release, or write a release letter, burn or bury the letter, and meditate on new beginnings and write down your insights. And it just reminds us to remember that we are like cosmic beings having a human experience, and it's an invitation to remember our innate magic, resilience and transformative potential. And on the personal individual level, it's like a cosmic mirror reflecting our truth selves back to us, and we might suddenly see aspects of our personality that have been hiding in the shadows. And this can be a good thing or a bad thing, because self-awareness, a lot of us are not, we don't like our shadow side, our weaknesses, right? So we hide them. And this forming can, it's in Cancer, and then it's Leo, it's shining. Leo rules the sun, it's shining the light, it's lighting up our emotions, right? So we're being invited to break free from our emotional patterns and write a new chapter in our personal story, and to blend and honour our roots while asserting our unique identity. And just remember, we're not just a product of our past, we are the authors of our futures. It wants us to really focus on radically coming into knowing ourselves, understanding yourself, being aware, taking accountability for your own life choices, and, allowing you to have breakthroughs in your emotional and psychological and sort of like spiritual expression as well, and understanding. And it just allows us to revolutionize our thoughts and actions and reclaim our personal narrative, our stories, be our authentic selves, Psychologically, it's like a sort of therapy session, giving us a chance for next level deep psychological growth, as it brings subconscious patterns, the things we hide, we're not aware of, to the front of our attention. Maybe, some of you may have been aware of those parts, but you've been avoiding them. It's like, this energy, our subconscious is really knocking on the door of our conscious awareness as well. So let's not ghost them, right? Even though we want to ghost them, because this is why we avoid and distract ourselves, right? Because it can be deep, this emotional work. So, instead of ghosting our feelings and ghosting ourselves and our needs right now, it's time for us to be open and to have a heart-to-heart with ourselves, and allow ourselves to sort of like level up our game of emotional self-awareness, acceptance, understanding and management and forgiveness as well. And it just allows us to become more confident as the moon shifts into Leo. It brings that sort of like energy for us to accept our emotions and to channel our inner truth into outer confidence, knowing that sometimes, others may not understand our truths, but we must be our truths, and this is how we keep the balance. A lot of our personal unhappiness comes from trying to live up to other people's expectations rather than being who we really are. So, think about how you can channel your inner truth into outer expression. And as I said, it happens, there's that time of this full moon, it's in the 30th degree of Cancer, and it represents a critical psychological threshold. These are retic degrees where, the wisdom of the signs, the degrees of 1 to 29 Cancer is all built up, and in the last 30th degree, this is when that piled up wisdom meets our transformative potential, our chance for new growth. And this is when our personal psychology can become a revolutionary act of self-liberation and freedom. And it wants us to upgrade our emotional intelligence and work with our shadows and speed up our acceleration of our shadow work and build up our intuitive intelligence. And our psychological cultivation, awareness, building, bonding, and our authentic self-expression. And it sort of like opens up a portal to my higher understanding and, you know, the connection between the unknown, the sort of forces, the psychic, right? And the symbolism of the revolutionary daughter in the 30th degree, right, wants us to have a spiritual awakening, especially to that of our sort of like family history, our ancestors trying to send us a message as your higher self, trying to send you a message as your higher power, trying to send you a message, you know. It shines a light on karmic patterns that we need to let go of, and it just asks us what spiritual lessons are we being asked to learn from, you know. It highlights the power of nurturing our intuition and growing into a more positive, radiant, bright self-expression, and it wants us to honour both the yin and yang of our spiritual nature, you know, the masculine and feminine energy within ourselves, with whatever our gender expression is. You know, we've all got like the yin and yang in us, and we need to balance those, right? So in terms of the spiritual archetypical textbook meanings, it's sort of like an awakening to our feminine emotional energy and the wisdom that can come from our looking back at our past and our family traditions, even our national traditions, religions, whatever it is from your past that you used to do that you don't do now, what could give you some solution to your problems now. And it wants us to work with the divine, the sacred feminine within ourselves, the understanding, the part of us that wants to nurture ourselves, understand ourselves, forgive ourselves, love on ourselves, you know. So in terms of the homework that we can do, we can write about our personal journey so far in life and the issues that we feel and our thoughts about our issues, think about our strengths and weaknesses, release our generational limitations, think about things in our families in your family that may have been passed down. A lot of families have, you know, alcoholism, drug abuse, or mental health issues and stuff like that. So just thinking about, we've all got our special brand of family crazy. So just thinking about your family crazy and how you can overcome it, and maybe, you know, some of you may create content about it to help others and inspire others to, you know, work through their family histories and know that they can become who they want to be. It wants us to conduct a deep emotional inventory and heal our inherited trauma patterns and kind of expand our emotional intelligence and just develop radical self-compassion and activate and work with our intuitive guidance system. As I said, the moon moves into Leo from Cancer at 2:06 p.m. at the time of this full moon. So this allows us to channeling our emotional expression into creative expression and transitioning from externally reflecting about our problems to externally manifesting changes into our life, and it sort of like gives us the potential for radical personal empowerment. Leo energy is all about standing out there, shining, allowing others to shine on the higher level. Negatively used, Leo energy can be stubborn, self-centered, egotistical, right? So it's wanting us to find a balance between expressing our emotions in the right ways and allowing others to do so, but not being, you know, too arrogant and egotistical and, you know, attention seeking as well, because this can cause problems in our relationships right now. So in terms of the karmic meanings and lessons, it wants us to break free from the karmic chains that have been holding our family bloodline black. You know, as I said, it wants us to become more emotionally independent and balance our emotional needs with personal freedom, and it asks us if we're ready to declare independence from outdated emotional patterns. And as the moon slides into Leo, it wants us to step into our power and lead from the heart and think about the leadership roles that we've played in our past lives and how we can evolved and get through them now, and we may find ourselves in terms of the dreams and past life memories that come up, having vivid memories of being part of a close-knit community or family, or having dreams about historical moments and the significance of them, having flashbacks to lives where you had to choose between duty and your personal desires, like maybe sticking to, I don't know, a job and giving up romance, sort of like a Notebook kind of things, but with a not so happy ending in the end, but maybe the Notebook doesn't have a happy ending. But anyway, we just have to pay attention to our dreams right now and emotions that come up after dreaming, or our thoughts, journal them, because it can be like pieces of a karmic puzzle that we need to solve to move forward. In terms of collective karma, people may awaken on the collective level, talk about more historical injustices, and talk about the need for healing in our social circles and our relationships and nations and world in general. It wants us to rise in our feminine energy, our emotional nature, and find a balance between nurturing and leading. And some of you may choose to lead from behind the scenes. Some of you may choose to lead from the center stage, and it wants us to think about the outdated beliefs and systems that we are collectively ready to overthrow, to let go of, to shake up. And as we kind of navigate the karmic current of the full snow moon, we have to remember that we're incarnated not to relive old patterns. We're here to learn and grow from our past in our current lives and even in our past lives. It's an invitation to rewrite our soul's history, heal ancestral wounds or past current wounds, unresolved childhood and trauma and stuff like that. And this is how we can contribute, how our collective consciousness to evolve, right? So we can ask ourselves, what karmic lessons are we ready to learn, graduate from? How can I use the wisdom of my past and my past lives to create a more enlightened future? What role am I meant to play in the collective karmic story that's unfolding now? And we just have to remember that karma isn't about punishment, it's about growth and balance. And this full moon is a chance to balance the cosmic scales and to step into a new chapter of our soul's journey. So now I'm going to talk about the aspects that the moon and the sun are making at the time of this full snow moon. So we've got the moon making an opposition to Mercury, and this is applying. So this brings a tug, push and pull between our head and our heart right now. On the positive end, it increases our communication, especially of our feelings, right? So it's good for heart to heart talks, but it can lead to misunderstandings or us overthinking our feelings. The best use of this energy is to write about our thoughts and feelings and find a balance between our logic and emotion. The moon makes a quintile to Jupiter. Now this is nice sort of energy, so it gives our emotions a kind of lucky charm boost. Positively, it allows us to be optimistic while releasing things underneath this full moon, digging deep into our emotions, right? It allows us to be more emotionally generous, but negatively we can overindulge in feel good activities and drugs, drink, hookups, alcohols, distractions, and this can lead to trouble, especially if you spend the rent money on a night out. So the best use of this energy is to use it to perform acts of kindness for yourself and others, to be creative, to work on your healing. The sun also makes a conjunction to Mercury, so the best use of this energy is to use it to express yourself and to be open to new ideas, but it can lead to self-centered communication. The best use of this energy is to use your ideas boldly, but remember to listen to other people too as well, because again the Leo energy can make us drama seeking and just being all me. The sun's by quintile to Mars. Now this is solar energy, so we're going to feel it inward, just like the moon's quintile to Jupiter, right? So it allows us to inwardly assert ourselves, but we can become restless and be aggressive under this energy. Mars, Leo, fire fits fire, and kind of like cardinal fire, and Mars rules Aries, right? So it wants us to use this energy to solve our problems and be creative. The moon and the sun also makes a square to Uranus, so again this can add to the emotional instability and resistance to change negatively, but positively it allows us to have breakthroughs in our emotional, psychological and spiritual patterns that have been holding us back from, being who we want to be. The best use of this energy is to use it as a springboard, for personal growth. The moon also makes a biquintile to Neptune, so this allows us to sort of like work with our creativity and spiritual insights, but negatively we can be sort of like confused between what is real and what's fantasy right now. So it's best another aspect that allows us to be creative, right, and to meditate and to tap into the mystical vibration of biquintile energy. The moon makes a trine to Chiron, so it allows for us to heal. It provides that healing opportunity that we need, but negatively we can just think too much about past pain and numb ourselves and run and avoid dealing with it as well. So we just need to use the positive of this, which is increased empathy and understanding and forgiveness for ourselves and others, and practice self-compassion and give empathy to others as well. As I said, the moon makes a biquintile to the north node, so it supports us in trusting and working with our intuitive feelings, but negatively it can make us overthink our choices and make us be stuck, like, oh, should I do this, should I do that, and what if I do this and that, so ultimately positively it allows us to have an intuitive understanding of our life purpose right now, but we mustn't overthink it. We must just try and go with the flow and be real with ourselves. The sun makes a biquintile to descendant, so again it allows us to find creative ways and in our expression of how we present ourselves to the world, but we can come across as eccentric, and the best use of this energy is to experiment with new ways of expressing your authentic self. Now in terms of, also there's a T-square at the time of this new moon, so the T-square is between the sun in Capricorn, Mercury in Aquarius, Uranus in Aries and the moon in Cancer. So the sun in Capricorn brings structure and ambition. Mercury in Aquarius brings innovative thinking and unconventional communication, allowing us to think out of the box in the ways that we communicate with ourselves and others. Uranus in Aries brings that revolutionary sort of like energy, wanting us to change, get outside of our comfort zones, right? And the moon in Cancer stirs up our emotions and intuitive insights. So again, it allows us to have sudden emotional breakthroughs and to break free from our emotional patterns. But again, we can have a mind versus heart with Mercury in Aquarius squaring both the moon and Uranus. Our thoughts and feelings may play a cosmic game of ping pong right now. We can find ourselves torn between logical solutions and our emotional needs, and brilliant ideas may get in the way of our desire for emotional security. As I said, and communication just can become really unpredictable right now. But this kind of change in how we communicate, maybe you normally talk to someone all day every day, but maybe you may decide not to talk to them for a while, and this can cause tension, but it may be good for the relationship in the long run. It also allows our practical to meet our radical sort of like needs. It's a volatile mix because we may feel the push and pull between wanting to stay in our comfort zone and changing, but again it allows us to create a new path, to be open to exploring our family heritage and our past experiences, to learn from them so we can move forward. So yeah, as the energy moves from Cancer to Leo, the T-square kind of gets us to be like, the Cancer energy wants us to feel it, and the Leo energy wants us to express how we feel in healthy, non-toxic ways. So the best way to navigate this cosmic T-storm energy is to be open to sudden changes and insights, thoughts, ideas, embrace the unexpected, vibe with it, balance logic and emotion, try to find a middle ground between our head and our heart. sort of like channel a revolutionary spirit, using this energy to make positive changes in our life and not being afraid to sign. So yeah, it's a chance to break free from old patterns and step into a new version of ourselves. The T-square is adding fuel to this transformative fire, challenging us to find innovative solutions to, problems in our lives that we had for decades, asking us, are we ready to be star of our own personal growth journey? And it gives us the courage to make it happen, and it just reminds us to breathe through the intensity and take our time step by step, day to day. Steady changes is the best way, and remember that revolutions aren't meant to be comfortable, they're meant to be transformative. So now I'm going to talk about the Sabian degrees that are really influential in this full snow moon in Leo in Cancer. So as I said, the moon's in the 30th degree of Cancer and has the Sabian symbology, a daughter of the American Revolution, and it rules the 12th heretic vertebrae in the human body. The sun's in the 30th degree of Capricorn and has the Sabian symbol, directors at a large firm meet in secret conference, and it rules the adductor muscle in the human body. And Mercury's in the 3rd degree of Aquarius, which has the Sabian symbol, a deserter from the Navy, and this rules the right fibula in our human body. So starting with the moon, the positive of the moon being in the 30th degree of Cancer, again, as I said, it gives us the courage to stand up for what we believe in and awaken to our personal and collective heritage, so our national heritage or our family, cultural heritage, religions and stuff, and connect to this wisdom and get strength from it, even if it's the strength of and the wisdom of do not follow this culture for some of you, or to practice the actual texts of the philosophy rather than the culture around it. What people say is going back to the source, right? Connecting to source, connecting to a higher power, connecting to your higher self, connecting to your authentic self-expression. But negatively, we can rebel without a cause, just do things for the sake of it rather than for real reason, and we can cling to outdated traditions, and we can just resist change as well. So we just have to stand up tall and proud in our beliefs, our convictions, and the sun in the 30th degree of Capricorn, which has the Sabian symbol, directors at a large firm company meeting a secret conference. So it's about strategic planning and thinking. Some of you may need to stop talking to people around you and do things more silently. It gives us the ability to make important decisions. It allows us to make new friendships. But negatively, there can be too much secrecy, and this can be a lack of transparency, and this can lead to power struggles or manipulation, and this can kind of exclude others from important conversations, and we may feel a pull towards bringing things together or closing ranks. It can be like the body is trying to gather all its resources to make a big move. So a lot of you need to kind of like slow down and use this energy wisely, plan your move, and it rules the adductor muscle, right? So I'm going to talk a bit more about this, but it wants us to, just pull ourselves together sort of thing. So Mercury's in the 3rd degree of Aquarius. The Sabian symbol is a deserter from the Navy, so leaving. So positively, it gives us the courage to break free from restrictive systems. It allows us to be more innovative in our thinking, to think outside of the box. It helps us to make decisions based on what we want and need, as well as consider the effects on others, but not let others manipulate us, and be authentic in our choices. But negatively, we can make rash decisions and abandon our responsibilities, and we can just find it difficult to work within established structures and routines, and it brings challenges in our communication and our ability to follow through on our goals, to do the daily action. So we just need to make sure we break down our changes into step-by-step action, as if not to get overwhelmed with everything, and to stop ourselves from not taking personal responsibility for our lives, which we must do. So we may feel like we want to break away, leg it, because this energy rules the right fibula in the right leg. So it can just be like our body, our mind and soul are all itching for a change of direction. So bringing it all together, it wants us to reconnect with our roots while breaking free from outdated emotional, psychological and spiritual patterns, making strategic decisions that honour both tradition and our, innovation and new ideas. It wants us to find the courage to make our own plans, chart our own course, even if it means leaving something behind, a relationship, a thought pattern, a career, a lifestyle, So now I'm just going to talk about the influence the Sabian symbols have on our emotional, spiritual, physical and psychological health, and the practical applications in regards to our overall well-being, and as well as the esoteric meanings of the Sabian degrees, and what practical steps we can take to look after the part of the body they rule, So the moon's in the 30th degree of Cancer, and it rules the 12 thoracic vertebrae in our bodies. So it wants us to pay attention to our upper back health and our posture, so how we walk, doing yoga, stretches, stuff like that, and exercises that strengthen our spine and improve flexibility, and maybe go to a chiropractor for some of you if you feel that you need it. It brings us, sort of like an increased awareness of our personal and collective histories as well. It wants us to, some practical exercise can be the cow cat pose or back extensions, using a foam roller for upper back massage and release, and just practicing good posture throughout the day at your work desk or wherever when you're walking, Esoterically, it's like representing the awakening of our sleeping, untapped spiritual DNA, our unused talents, and activate our kind of innate ancestral wisdom. And it wants us to stand tall in our spiritual truth and embrace our cosmic kind of lineage, our connection to a higher source, a higher power, our higher self, So the sun in the 30th degree of Capricorn, that rules the adapter muscle. Emotionally, we can feel feelings of responsibility and the weight of decision making. We can be guarded emotionally and secretive, and people can be that way with us. But we can also sense a part of being bigger and belonging to something bigger and larger than ourselves, as I said. It wants us to have more spiritual freedom and have more of increased awareness of our sort of like self. It wants us to understand the interconnectedness of all things and the spiritual implications of consequences of our choices and life decisions, not only just the practical ones. It wants us to increase our strategic thinking and planning abilities, and, sort of like create relationships that have balanced power dynamics rather than toxic ones. And we need to have discretion, use good judgment, make right choices, and consider each option kind of like carefully. So in terms of the adductor muscle, it wants us to focus on building our inner thigh strength and flexibility, be aware of our hip and groin kind of like health, consider the balance between stability and mobility in the lower body, and practically, do abductor stretches like the butterfly or seated saddle stretches, incorporating exercises like sumo squats and any form of squats and side lunges, and using a roller or something to gently rub over your adductor muscle. On the esoteric level, it wants us to sort of like be aware of the hidden forces that have influence in our reality, and it's a reminder of the power of intention and the importance of aligning with a higher purpose. Mercury is in the 3rd degree of Aquarius, and it rules the right fibula. So on the emotional level, it wants us to be more detached in our emotions, to have more independence, but be in touch with our emotions, break away from our emotional rules or any emotional rules that others tell us to follow. And it wants us to break free from limited spiritual other beliefs and be open to new unconventional spiritual paths, and it allows us to have sudden insights and awakening. And it wants us to be rebellious and nonconformist. It gives us a need for more mental freedom, and some of you may have followed a certain religious path for a while, or spiritual path, and you may decide to, leave it. And ultimately, I think all paths should be, whether religious, spiritual, philosophical, should lead us to believing in like a higher power or higher order, wanting the best for humanity, wanting, putting others before ourselves, not forgetting ourselves, but thinking about the whole rather than just thinking about our selfish, lower self desires, but not forgetting them, because we don't have to, repress them totally, we just have to balance them right. So in terms of the physical health meanings, it wants us to pay attention to our lower leg and stability strength, be aware of our ankle health and flexibility, consider the balance between our stability and mobility and movement. It wants us to do things like practice ankle rotations and foot flexes regularly, incorporating balancing exercises like single leg stands, using the tennis ball for foot massage and release. On the esoteric occult level, it wants us and gives us the courage to break away from social or spiritual constraints. It's a call to sort of like make our own decisions in the vast kind of big ocean of consciousness, and as the moon goes from Cancer to Leo, we're asked to move from internal revolution to external expression, encouraging us to express our newfound ancestral wisdom with confidence, make bold, heart-centered decisions based on higher guidance, and break free from limiting patterns and step into our authentic power, and allow yourself to work with the energy of the Cancer and Leo moon to make the choices to let go of the things that you want to let go of. So now I'm just going to conclude with the best things for different types of people to do with this energy. So if you're more creative, this is a good time to express your innate or practice talent and experiment with different techniques and create art that tells a story of your personal collective evolution. It's time to break creative or artistic and other boundaries, and let the revolutionary spirit of this moon inspire you to create something that challenges, the status quo tradition. Maybe looking into an avant-garde project you've been dreaming of. For those of you who are professional, rethink your career path. Ask yourself if it is aligned with your authentic true values. Speak up for positive change in the workplace. Network and spend time communicate with those who are like-minded who share the same vision of you. Use this energy to be the change that you want to see in your industry. Entrepreneurs use this energy to brainstorm business ideas that can solve social problems, we've got a lot of them, right? Revisit your company's mission, asking yourself, do they reflect your evolving values? Take calculated risks to break into new markets or launch new products. It wants you to disrupt your industry. Think about what revolutionary ideas you've been sitting on. Alternative healers can use this energy to explore techniques, develop new innovative healing modalities, maybe host a full moon gathering, healing circle, focus on releasing generational dysfunctional patterns, and tap into the wisdom of your healing sort of like expertise, while also pushing the boundaries of your practice. And just think, and be aware that the universe is supporting you in your higher self, and, use this energy to work on new ideas that can help you heal yourself and others. Lovers can use this energy to have honest conversations about their relationship's future, have revolutionary, surprise new types of date nights, getting outside of your usual routine, work together on the cause you believe in, and use this energy to revolt, go against your relationship kind of stagnation. If you feel like, it's boring, we just do the same thing, it's time to write new rules for your love story. If you're single or self-partnered, break away, continue to do the work to have independence from outdated relationship expectations. Maybe do a personal or have a gathering of people doing a self-love ritual, celebrating your autonomy. So for those who are single and self-partnered, you can sort of like break away from outdated relationship expectations, continue to do shadow and inner work, maybe do a self-love ritual that celebrates independence alone or with those who are supportive, join a group or cause that aligns with your personal values, embrace being single as a revolutionary act of self-love, and remember you're not just single, you're one person revolution. And as the moon shifts into Leo, you know, all of these activities get like a boost of confidence and creativity, and we can just want to just make change right now, and it's a chance of us to you know, start a personal or professional revolution right now to change. And whether we're painting a masterpiece or launching a startup right now or revolutionizing our love life, it's a time to let our inner rebel shine. And so yeah, so ultimately the full snow moon is our invitation to change our inner world, to honour our emotional wisdom, and to step into our spiritual power. We can ask ourselves how we can use this lunar energy to break free from old patterns and shine our unique light. We can ask ourselves how we can motivate ourselves to engage in more psychological, spiritual and emotional growth. And it's asking us to nurture our inner truth and express it boldly to the world. And, you know, just ask yourself, are you ready to answer the call and become the spiritual revolutionary of your own life story? You know, asking yourself, you're ready to let go. What are you ready to let go of right now? So yes, this is the end of this in-depth analysis on the full moon in Cancer that happens on the 12th of February. Take care. I'm Amani, your holistic astrological life coach.